Join the ESPN 960 team in Mill Rock Commercial Properties for a free night of Topgolf. This Friday, May 25th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., you and your special someone will have a date night on the house full of golfing, grubbing, and education on how you can invest in commercial real estate. Go to millrockcp.com/events to register. Once again, don't miss out on a night of food, fun, and education this Friday at Topgolf. Sign up right now, millrockcp.com/events. millrockcp.com, your gateway to commercial real estate.
Go to royalarmybrand.com, purchase your swag, BYU licensed apparel, created by fans for fans. Let's get out to the Forte Helmets phone line. Welcome in our next guest, former BYU great. How many years did he play in the NFL? Like 8 years in the NFL. Blocked for some of the greatest running backs in NFL history, including Adrian Peterson. I remember a story of Adrian Peterson having to walk in and be like, I need Fahu Tahi to block for me. Let's get out. Let's keep up with the one, the only Fahu Tahi out of West Valley. What's up, Fahu? How you living?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for hopping on with us, spending some time with us. We know your time is precious, and you got practice to go to. So we want to be respectful of that. But let's start off with this. Can you rehash that story from your perspective? I've never heard it from your own words, but from your perspective, Adrian Peterson going in and talking to the management, talking to the coaching staff, and saying, "I need Fahu Tahi to block for me." How did that make you feel?
So good to be wanted, especially with a guy, like that, speaks volumes. So, we developed a really good relationship and on and off the field. And it was one of the years I was going into a free agent year, and I had an offer sheet from Cincinnati. And so it looked like I was heading back over there because I was in Cincinnati my rookie year before going out to Minnesota. And so he kind of stood up for me and, made it clear that, he wanted me around, which was a good feeling for me. And, with a guy like that, he has a lot of say and a lot of weight in that franchise at the time. I mean, him being the poster boy of the Vikings at the time for a very long time. So
and
it was good.
You've always been wanted, and you've always produced. Back in the day, Granger High, you set a state record, all-time leading rusher in rushing touchdowns, almost 6,000 yards. Before Fui Vakapuna, before Harvey Unga, before Ula Tolutau, Fahu Tahi was the poly-power running back in the state of Utah. And you did it in a tremendous way. Take us back real quick to kind of your roots and what it's like having all these young men that are kind of coming up in the ranks and pursuing their dreams from a Polynesian background, becoming that power Polynesian back. They look up to you as a player and as a person.
Yeah. I mean, coming from West Valley, where there's a huge Polynesian population, and also just in Salt Lake City itself. But I came out of high school and I was 215, and my freshman year, Lavelle Edwards was getting towards the end of his career, and we didn't really have nutrition. They just fed us like kings, and we ate whatever we wanted. By the end of my freshman year, I ended up being 260. But I guess my weight just kind of stayed that way through the rest of my career. And, I worked hard and tried to do the best I could to try to keep my speed and everything, my agility and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. I loved BYU, and, growing up in California before our family moved to Utah, we got to watch a little bit of BYU. We didn't really have cable or anything, so sometimes we'd go to the church building and watch the BYU games off, the church TV or whatever. But it was fun. You had back to the 80s, like Rice Hammer and Locke being a big back, and I just did well with what Norm Chow was doing, and also with Crone, and then going into my senior year when Mendenhall took over. It just fit, and also with the guys that I was running next to, we kind of all just complimented each other. And the other guys like Curtis Brown or Luke, they were more slashers, and I was more of the short yardage type guy and bruising a little bit. And
you had nimble feet, though. You were quick. Don't get it twisted. You were nimble and quick. That little jump cut, you were privy to that. You knew how to execute that. Fahu Tahi on with us here, Cougar Sports, ESPN 960, former BYU great, NFL great as well. Is that why you came to BYU, because of the history, or was there someone in particular that convinced you to come to BYU? What influenced you?
Funny story. It's funny you asked that, because I was just talking to some of our coaches about it here at Jordan High. But I was actually really interested in going to Arizona. I loved what Dick Tomei and Bobby Wagner were doing over there, and I had a lot of interest in Nebraska too. And so coming out, from back in the days when I was in high school, I mean, we didn't have the tools that the kids in high school do now with huddle and everything, and everybody can have access to your film and stuff like that. We were sending VHSs out to colleges hoping they would make time to watch it. Mm-hmm. But I had this pretty big offers. But Nebraska was doing their thing, coming off back-to-back championships and stuff like that. And then also I was really interested in Arizona, than just beating Nebraska in their bowl game that year I was coming out of high school. And so, I mean, I really loved BYU. I was a fan of it. I just knew, they had a history of being a big-time passing school because of all the success they had in quarterbacks. And so I had kind of a mild verbal commit to Arizona, and took my first trip there. I took my second trip to BYU, and my mom told me, this is where I want you to come, and that was the end of it.
And I love your mother for that. I'm so grateful for your mom. There's so many of those stories. Kyle Van Noy had the same story. His mom forced him.
I had a similar story. My mom
Cameron
chose
Jensen.
BYU because, I didn't even choose them on one of my 5 trips. So I'm with you, Fahu. I understand. Mom's know best.
The last time.
How you doing, man?
What's up, man? Yeah, dude, moms know best. They get us. They get us every time. Fahu, I have to ask. You've been at Utah State, and we've seen. I mean, they've won 2 out of the last 4. How's Utah State perceiving this rivalry now? You've been in the enemy camp, so to speak. How do they? What's their mentality going into that game? I'm curious. Is that they come in, they're passionate, obviously in state, but what's that like from their point of view?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, in years past, and obviously, still now, BYU and Utah, they're in a tower over Utah State as far as all the marketing and recruiting and all that stuff. They just have so much to offer, And Utah State, they kind of just feel that what we did over there was just we got better at recruiting kids, that had chips on their shoulder, kids that were like borderline getting offers from Mountain West type schools, or just kids that felt like they were getting looked past from their ability and all that stuff. And so, I mean, going into that game, that's kind of just their mentality. Kind of feel, you kind of just feed their fire a little bit, and just be like, yeah, you ended up here because these coaches probably thought the other kids that they recruited were better than you guys and stuff like that. And, they kind of gets them pumped up, and you see it in the game last year. Starting pregame, there was a little scuffle between the guys and stuff like that. But it's always fun, Yeah, I mean, you gotta find some way and always different ways to get them fired up, especially for in-state rivals and stuff like that. So they always kind of feel like going into that fight, they're always the underdog, no matter what the record is,
Fahu Tahi, former BYU great, on with us here, Cougar Sports, ESPN 960. That leads me to my next question. You sounded off on social media recently about Utah State and Coach Wells. I think BYU
Strong
fans,
words from Fahu.
And this is the thing. I think all BYU fans that have had interactions with Fahu know that he is super passionate and he speaks his mind. So, and that's why we love Fahu. That's why we love playing with him, because he was passionate, he was competitive. So
he let me know that early on kickoff one time. I remember it was like a walkthrough. I'm running down there, and Fahu let me know that it wasn't really a walkthrough. I felt that passion personally my redshirt year.
But that's what ended up making those teams so great, right? Because we had guys like Fahu that took it to the next level. So Fahu, tell us, what was the impetus and what was the message you were trying to get across with your social media post?
I just, just from around the way. I still have family. I have family players that play there, and Frank and Wani are coaching up there, and both of those guys are really close family too. And so, just to keep a couple people anonymous, just words got around that I was kind of being talked down to and just underappreciated for what I did when I was there and stuff like that, which kind of blew me off because, while I was there, I worked hard at recruiting, trying to push Polynesian kids. Any kid that came through there. And, with my background and what I knew about football and everything like that, but also just try to, be honest and open and up front and try to gain a pretty good relationship with the kids on and off the field, And so just hearing some of the things that were said and just kind of disappointed me. I kind of hashed out, and, I've been known in the past to hash out about things on social media, but I kind of felt like, if there were things that needed to be addressed from one man and how he felt about me, I think he could have done that in person, man to man, but I don't feel he did. So, I didn't feel he deserved the courtesy to me to call him to talk about it if he felt like he could say things about me behind my back and stuff like that. And so that's just how it is. I have no ill feelings about the school or the program or anything. I still love the kids. I keep in touch with a lot of them and some of the coaches and stuff like that. My post and everything I was hashing out was just to one man, and one man only. Is just how I felt at the time hearing those things. And so I was a little hurt. I was a little upset. Just because, like you guys said, how passionate I am about the game. And, football.
And also the effort that you put forth. You're passionate about. When you've sacrificed so much, it doesn't feel all that good to be, talked down to and disrespected.
Right.
Has there been any? Sorry, Fahu. Has there been any dialogue from you guys since this post?
Has he reached out to you?
Has he reached out to you?
No, he hasn't at all. I haven't heard. Probably just a couple of upset fans messaging me, asking me why, and like I said, I love the program. I love the kids there, and some of the coaches there. I'm still really close to, and I communicate with still and stuff. And I'm sure fans were upset with me and stuff like that I said that. But I said what I know because I know the man personally, and I dealt with him day in and day out and stuff like that. And just for what I've done for him and the program and stuff like that, and I felt like I helped in somewhat, whether it was one kid or a few kids.
Yeah.
That ended up coming to the program. I felt I did something, and just to hear the things that I heard were just a little upsetting and kind of hurt me because, I sacrificed time being away from my kids and, being up there. And during the season, I really saw my kids, and, I had a lot of issues off the field with them, dealing with my kids, dealing with health issues, and, there were times I had to miss practice at work just to come be with my kids. So, just things like that. I acted out of emotion and just being upset and stuff like that, but it is what it is.
Well, do you still feel like that he's ruining the program? That you stated that in your social media post. Do you feel like he's ruining the program?
To be honest, personally, he's a great coach and he's a great football mind. He knows a lot about football, but I think as far as on a personal level with the kids and everything like that, I don't think he gets across to them or understands. A lot of the kids, and we've all played and dealt with, with teammates, and we all grew up different, but we all got along and stuff like that just because, we had the same goals and playing in the same sports and all that stuff. So, not every kid is the same. And so you can't treat or expect every kid to do what the next kid is doing or to be as good in the classroom or on and off the field and all that stuff because, you have All-American guys who are great in the community, and great with people day in and day out, like, Ken and Ben, stuff like that. Those are the guys your parents see and be like, yeah, that's who I want my daughter to marry. And then you got knuckleheads like me who grew up in West Valley and stuff like that. And,
Ben and I still aren't married, so we're Fahu, we don't.
You two, honestly, are the most eligible bachelors I know. You guys need to try out for The Bachelor.
I think now we're too old.
No. I know any girl that would lock you two up would be lucky to have both of you. So,
well, we appreciate that.
There's nothing, and there's nothing wrong with it. Because like I said, we grew up in different backgrounds. We were raised up different. But, I loved those two guys. They were my teammates, and, it worked because we had one common goal. And, there were times, even though I was older than those guys, I had to follow their example, especially Cameron. He was a team captain, and not just who the defense looked to, but, who the whole team looked to. And so, there was a lot of times I was a knucklehead, even in my senior year, being older, that I had to follow his lead. So, that's just who I am. Sometimes I have to be reminded now that I'm going to be 37. I can't act like a knucklehead teenager anymore.
Yeah, but you know what? Part of that passion is what we love about you, Fahu. And granted, it happens sometimes, and that's why I wanted to bring you on. It's been a kind of a week since you tweeted that out and Facebooked that out, and I was like, you know what, let's talk with Tahi now and see how he feels. And I think it was enlightening. It enlightened me, and we want you to know we love and appreciate you.
No
Keep
doubt,
on
man.
working hard,
Heck
man.
Of a team,
I appreciate
Yep.
that.
And if you need anything, please let us know, man. I love you too, man. Let us know if we can do anything. Hit us up. Have a great rest of your day, brother. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Fahu Tahi, ladies and gentlemen.
Join the ESPN 960 team in Mill Rock Commercial Properties for a free night of Topgolf. This Friday, May 25th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., you and your special someone will have a date night on the house full of golfing, grubbing, and education on how you can invest in commercial real estate. Go to millrockcp.com/events to register. Once again, don't miss out on a night of food, fun, and education this Friday at Topgolf. Sign up right now, millrockcp.com/events. millrockcp.com, your gateway to commercial real estate.